Hi, this is Greg Rath with the Rath Podcast, and today we're going to talk about leak detection. So many might know that water damage is the number one cause of loss for homeowners, and the truth is nobody really thinks it's going to happen to them until it does. And the reality is the problem is so significant that insurance companies are already requiring leak detection for high value homes, and that value of what's considered high value is actually dropping every single year. So I can imagine a not so distant future when it's going to be required in every home, your home. So today I've got the pleasure of speaking with Ian Green from FloLogic, and he's here today to help me understand why this is a problem and why it matters to plumbers. So let's get right to it. Ian, why should this matter to plumbers? What's in it for them to consider providing a flow-based leak detection for the homes that they service?
Hey, Greg. Well, it's good to be here today, and that's a great question. The leak detection category is, I kind of think about it like it's almost like going to be water heaters one day because homes need them. You have to have water heating, right? A lot of homes need leak detection today because the insurance companies are requiring them to have leak detection as a condition of coverage. And more homeowners, even if their insurance company is not requiring it, are realizing the value of protecting their home from the number one risk of damage to their home. They're already doing things like security systems and fire protection, scary, risks that are risks, but much less likely than water damage is as a risk to actually disrupting their life and destroying their home. So they're becoming wise to it. They're being required to do it. It's something that homes either have to have or homeowners are demanding. So the smart plumbers are realizing that this is something that I should provide as part of my business. They're providing a core set of products that they recommend or sell to the homeowner. They're able to both sell the device and install it, which makes for a very profitable service calls. And they also get really high lifetime value out of these customers because leak detection systems get the homeowner or the property owner engaged with their plumbing. It helps them realize issues and take proactive steps to maintain their plumbing. And it opens up opportunities for ongoing service of that home to keep it in tip-top shape and provide real value to that customer.
Right. Okay. I love all that. So the things that I heard in there are, I'm just going to repeat back. Um, you're, I mean, right out of the gate, you're providing another product, another service that you could charge for. So there's just money in that. Number two, people are already thinking about this. So whether you're in that high value home category or not, it's on people's minds. So people are asking about it. And if you bring it up, everyone knows somebody who's had some kind of leak problem. So it's not a foreign thing to even ask for. You're getting that stickiness that you mentioned because every time someone looks at their app, they're thinking about you. Every time, and God forbid they look at the app and go, "Oh, I'm having a plumbing issue." Well, guess who's getting that phone call, right? And then you're getting the leads out of that with that guy, and then possibly even references to other customers. So, I mean, right out of the gate, it seems like a no-brainer to at least offer to your customers.
It is. It's a real opportunity to educate them. It presents the contractor as a proactive service provider that you're not just trying to sell them something. You're trying to protect their way of life. You're trying to protect their most valued asset, and give them peace of mind and protect them from, as you mentioned, everybody's at least kind of heard of somebody who's had a leak. Certainly, every plumber's experienced a leak. It's easy
Right.
for you to very authentically tell a story, probably within the past 6 months, of a home you've been in that's been destroyed by a plumbing leak that they had to go fix after the fact. So I think it's more and more easily to be relatable to the homeowner. Homeowners are more attuned to smart home devices and protecting their
Right.
home security with cameras and controlling their home's facilities through HVAC control. So making the plumbing system a part of that, there's a much more natural leap to that than there ever has been before. But there's really not a choice in so many cases because the insurance industry is
Right.
realizing this is a primary loss category. Unlike hurricanes and wildfires that are driving up insurance for everybody, this is a loss category that can actually be prevented. So logically, they are requiring a device that's going to help prevent these claims. So whether it's being required or there's an opportunity to be proactive with a homeowner, it's a service that every plumber who wants to stay relevant and certainly stay out in front of the competition, because not every plumber's totally embrace this yet because they're busy enough doing other things. But if you think about the industry and where it's evolving, how to stay relevant and to actually also pick those higher value customers, leak detection is really the perfect product to be endorsing as
Right.
a way to forward for
And,
that.
and I think in there you brought up a really awesome point that and I'm just going to use the word differentiator, right? Not no one else is really bringing it up, or very few people are. So you're put yourself in a whole different category where when they're going through three or four different plumbers and figuring out price, who's the best guy, who do I trust, who should I go with? Well, like, hey, why did the other three guys not mention something about this? Because he mentioned this. I looked it up. It seems like a very real problem. Now I trust that guy. Maybe this guy's more expensive in general. Forget even the product, but like, you know what? I trust this guy. But let's just jump ahead a little bit because I want to now talk about, um, you know, you offer a product, um, but you're not the first people to ever think of leak detection. There's other leak products out there. What else is out there? What do they provide? What are their shortcomings? What do you provide?
You're right. There's a spectrum of products on the market. Everything from little sensors that just stand alone and make noise if they see water. Those are probably the oldest type of leak
I,
technology on the
I
marketplace.
I had that in my house. I was telling you earlier that I had a leak. That little buzzer didn't matter if I wasn't home,
That's right. It doesn't
right?
matter if you're not home, and certainly doesn't matter if it doesn't touch the water. It's not in the right place at the right time.
Exactly.
Some of those are connected to valves and they do shut the water off, but again, they've got to be in the right place at the right time. So flow-based is the most comprehensive approach. And then when insurance companies are requiring leak detection, which more and more are, as we talked about, they're drawing a line saying it's got to be flow-based. But within flow-based, there's quite a spectrum. Um, the more of the most of the systems out there are using are in kind of a lower price point, and they're using metering technology, which is great if you care like how much water you're using every day. You can get that data from the device if your municipality doesn't provide it for free already. But where those fall short is they cannot see lower flow leaks in real time. They have a blind spot of anywhere from around a pint, even up to about a quart per minute. So you're talking one, two, as many as 3+ hundred gallons a day could actually be ignored by these systems in real time.
That's so
FloLogic,
significant.
that's significant. The purpose of these devices is to protect homes and protect property primarily. FloLogic does not use metering technology. We have a different type of flow sensing technology. We can see leaks as small as a half an ounce per minute. We have an adjustable flow sensitivity, can be set as low as half an ounce per minute. So you can be very proactive and catch, a little pinhole leak behind a wall before it really becomes any kind of problem and shut it off automatically. I think that's the biggest difference. FloLogic is also different that it's not plastic with a 1 year warranty like some of the ones that are just a few $100 are. It's a solid bronze, U.S. made product with a 5 year warranty. Really made to last. It's made to protect homes, and because of that, we put backup battery as a standard part of the system. If you lose power, it'll keep on working. If you lose internet connection, it'll also keep on working because the command and control, while we are connected to the cloud and have app-based notifications and controls, the command and control is local to the device, so it does not rely on internet connectivity to operate.
So
FloLogic offers. Go ahead.
I was gonna say. So I was gonna ask. So let's talk about that app for a second. So we see like a pinhole leak. We get some cut. So what happens? Does the valve just shut? Like,
Yeah, good question.
what goes on?
Yeah, so FloLogic it's always watching every flow event in your home. And it doesn't matter where a leak is or how big your home is. Any leak is going to be fed through that main pipe. That's where FloLogic gets installed. So it's always watching every water flow event. If water flows for an abnormal amount of time, and there's home mode and away mode where we have different time allowances, which are fully adjustable. The user is in control of how much time is allowed there. If that flow time allowance gets violated, the water gets shut off automatically. You get alerted on your smartphone. You get a text notification to make sure you get an alert. You can add an unlimited number of users for the FloLogic system. So if you have a property manager or other members of your family who you'd want to make sure are alerted, they all get the alert at the same time. You can even get a pre-shut off alert to say, hey, water's been flowing for an abnormal amount of time. You may want a higher threshold because you have kids who take long showers. But you may want to go ahead and get a notification if water has flowed for 15 minutes, just to be as proactive as possible. That's something that FloLogic also offers.
So Ian, so you're saying that you can have a differentiate, like some kind of trigger that just gives you the notification before it locks it out?
Yeah, absolutely. And that, it's funny that I have a garden and I stick a sprinkler out there and water in it. FloLogic has a bypass mode, like a snooze button if you needed to pressure wash your house or spend the day washing cars. All you do is put it into the bypass mode. If I forget to put it in the bypass mode and I start watering the garden, I'll get a notification, hey,
Right.
water's been flowing for 15 minutes. And I think, I need to push the bypass buttons, which will snooze my system for 8 hours and then go back to monitoring automatically.
Yeah,
So the
because
user has
I'm thinking,
controls.
yeah, I'm thinking like you know, in away mode, obviously people are at work, but there's that random sporadic day. One person's not working. They go to the gym, maybe they come
Oh,
home,
yeah.
they take a shower, and like, what happened to the water?
Oh, you know what? That's actually an issue for systems that use algorithms. So some systems don't let you set the settings. They're just like plug it in, it'll learn your water use. And if it sees a leak, it'll shut the water off. But the problem with those is they're looking at a water use pattern in a home. And if your days change, like you mentioned, I've heard stories firsthand of a lot of this stuff happening, or you have occupancy levels that change, the kids come in, or if you travel a lot and that home's water use patterns are really not very standard because you're out of the home so much, those algorithms get confused and you can get a lot of nuisance shutoffs. So FloLogic doesn't rely on guesswork algorithms. It has user-defined settings. There's recommended settings, for example, 30 minutes in the home mode and 30 seconds in the away mode, which will let you take a couple showers that overlapped in the home mode, and it would let an ice maker run in the away mode. But the user gets to decide, I need more time because of how I use water. And then there's things like bypass mode when you know you're going to be using lots of water just to prevent those nuisance shutoffs. And the other thing would be like irrigation systems and water softeners that regenerate. They use water for long periods of time.
Hmm.
Perhaps you're on vacation, you want to be on the home mode, but your irrigation system needs to run for 90 minutes every Tuesday at 4 a.m. Well, a FloLogic system, one, it has a scheduling, so you can schedule for that, but also it can integrate. There's integrations, very differentiating point for FloLogic. It can integrate and have communication with your irrigation system or have communication with your water softener through a simple flow switch. Yeah, it can have communication with your security system so it mirrors the occupancy of your home automatically. The idea with FloLogic is you get the settings for what makes sense for your home, you integrate it where it makes sense, and then you don't think about it anymore unless it tells you there's an anomaly that you need to pay attention to or shut your water off
Right.
automatically because it saw it and shut it off automatically.
Yeah, there's nothing better than the set and forget, but then you got someone like me who probably would just look at it every day just because I'd be so excited to play with a new toy.
Yeah, and that's the customer the plumber really wants because you're going to catch that plumbing leak that you may not have otherwise realized that needs to be fixed. And if you're that kind of customer, you probably don't want to fix it yourself. Let's roll a truck out there and
Right
fix it
on.
for you. So those are the types of customers you're going to get when you are recommending and installing leak detection, and particularly if you're being discerning about a premium product. They cost a little bit more money for the device. They all cost the same to install, but if you can find the customers that want to be going for that more premium technology, that is a high lifetime value customer.
So I'm glad you just mentioned that. So in the last minute or so here, I'm going to put on my customer hat, my plumber hat, and I'm going to ask you the question you probably hear or the objection. Because you listen, you're a premium product. So what do you get when someone says it's too expensive? I'd prefer the less expensive option, or you know, obviously another one is I don't think I need it, right? So why don't you how do you address those two issues?
Yeah, common questions. Um, more and more people need it and they don't have a choice because their insurance company is telling them to do it, or the insurance company is going to give them a premium discount, and that's going to help pay for it. So it actually is a good economical decision because you need insurance and it'll pay for itself because you're going to have better rates on your insurance. Um, and I think as I already mentioned, all systems that are flow-based require a plumber to go cut a pipe and install it and plug it in. That's basically the same amount of work no matter which device. So there's certainly a significant service cost that's part of that. When you add the device in, the actual price difference isn't that significant when you consider the total investment. So, if you're worried about cost, you actually should go for a product that's got a higher year warranty that you're only going to have to install once. It's going to last a decade or more, which, FloLogic, we've been doing this for over 20 years, and systems we sold 15 years ago are similar in design to what we have today, although we have much better technology behind it. But those systems 15 years ago are still working today. It's a testament to the durability and the longevity of FloLogic. So yeah, I mean, nobody likes to spend money, but when it comes to getting peace of mind and making sure your home is insurable and trying to make that investment one time into your home,
Mhm.
that's where actually spending a little more money is better, makes better sense.
Yeah, and I'm thinking my last thought on that too is, you know, it's probably maybe you think I'm wrong, but it's probably unlikely that someone just says, "I'm going to call a plumber and install a leak detector." It's probably more likely that they're replacing their boiler, they're replacing their water heater, they're already doing some kind of work, and this is an upsell, right? So to your point before, maybe they had a $15,000 job that this just gets tacked onto, or maybe it's some even more significant. And so then the other part of it is like, okay, this is something that's good, and now maybe they're thinking it's too expensive in comparison to the next guy. Well, okay, we're talking a mediocre difference in the grand scheme of things. But then beyond that, if you're going to go ahead and do this, why put in a product that's got blind spots? Why put in a product that's going to
Yeah.
have a quart, a gallon, whatever you said before, of leaks and guessing algorithms rather than stuff that you have direct control over? So, to me, as you just say, that's what jumps into my head too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's opportunities throughout the sort of different touch points that a contractor has with a homeowner. Certainly, if they're already in there cutting pipes, it's an upsell opportunity. We find that most installations are kind of standalone requests or requirements, as the case may be, from the insurance company.
Okay.
It's an opportunity if you're differentiating yourselves and promoting leak detection to take on those customers who I think are going to be a higher value lifetime customer than the typical customer out there. So by pushing and offering these services, selling the systems and the installation, it's a way to capture really high value customers.
Awesome. All right. So, any other final thoughts before we close out?
We're just excited to be working with Wrath and supporting your market. This is a growing category. 95% of properties at least do not have leak detection out there. So it's just a huge blue sky opportunity. And we're excited to be along for the ride with you.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming on today on the podcast and going over it. I think it was really, really awesome discussion. And just like you, I'm stoked to be to work with you guys. And I think we're gonna do a lot of work, get a lot of projects out there.
Do a lot of
Appreciate
good
you coming
stuff.
on.
Thanks, Greg.
All right.